episode 4 of The Mom Game, a very different looking episode 4. I'm Emily Jones. She is...
I'm Julie Dobbs. I'm over here. You see me?
Well, yeah, I see you. I see you are at your house.
I am.
Which is where I am.
How about that?
Let's start with what room of the house we have decided to settle in tonight.
Me? So this is actually like what we would call the mother-in-law suite if I were to actually have a mother-in-law suite. This is like my mom's room in my house because the house that I live in was her house, or when she was growing up, it was my grandmother's house. So this is a room that she's been staying in forever, and it's just kind of quiet and there's not much going on in here, and I'm hoping it'll be a good choice to do this and there won't be many distractions.
Oh,
what about you?
That's awfully ambitious of you to say no distractions since our children are around nonstop. I'm set up in our office. As you can tell, probably the acoustics are terrible.
I can't tell.
My ideal spot is in my closet, but the internet connection there isn't very good. So I'm set up with this magnificent lighting that really brings out the bags in my eyes. And
who doesn't have bags these days?
The lack of patience that I'm experiencing right now. So yeah, here we are. We're all under, is it shelter in place?
Yeah.
Shelter in place, safer at home, all that kind of stuff. As is everyone else in the, North Texas area. And so we're just kind of trying to figure things out. And so Same thing goes for, our little podcast here as we try to continue to gain momentum, and hopefully people will hang with us through these kind of not so ideal times. But I think, like I said, what we've tried to do from the beginning is just to establish like this community of people that can hopefully kind of come along for the ride with us on this crazy journey. And hopefully we can be a resource for them and they can in turn be a resource for us. So I want to start by saying, like, if you have any, thing that you would like to hear us talk about, pick our brains about, don't hesitate to tweet us. That's usually the easiest way, I think, to get in touch with either of us. I'm at Emily Jones McCoy on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm at Julie Ann Dobbs, ANN Dobbs. And yeah, that's like the easiest way, I think. We're all kind of glued to our phones, whether that's good or bad. But anytime I get a tweet, I see it and I try to reply. You teased something in episode 1 that I've been really anticipating, Twitter tweets.
Okay, Twitter tweets, yes.
So do we need to explain this?
So Twitter tweets is just kind of like where the funny things you see on Twitter, the funny experiences you've had on Twitter. So, what was that?
I didn't know if, I could sneak it in.
Well, just since you brought it up.
Virtual cheers.
Poured a tall one just before we started this. I
wasn't
wasn't sure if I was going to
This may be our best podcast yet.
Yeah, depending on how long we go, right? So I think, social media, especially during like a time like this, can be a source of, a good source of news, a whole source of bad, depressing, angry people.
It's everything.
Also.
It's everything.
But then it also brings out some like funny things. And so I thought one of the things that we could do during this crazy time, instead of just talking about like how crazy our kids are driving us, which they are, and everything, but that's everybody. So maybe if we could provide a little levity on some of our more interesting Twitter exchanges, how we kind of handle social media, period, especially now since everyone is on it so much because there is so much downtime and everyone is hungry for so much information.
Yep.
So one of the funny things that I've seen on Twitter that I think would bring, some joy to people is these different announcers that are doing play-by-play on random life events like tying a shoe or microwaving some popcorn. And so I thought those, things like that do make you smile. Also, people wanting to help other people. I know some of our friends in the broadcast business have highlighted the fact that, the freelance crews are camera operators, video operators, all those people, they're so essential to what we do. They're missing games. And so they're uncertain of how and if and when they're getting paid and all those kind of things. So Dave Raymond, and who is the Rangers play-by-play guy, Mark Followell, who's the Mavericks play-by-play guy. And then why am I not thinking of Josh? Stars play-by-play guy.
Bogorod.
Yes, Josh Bogrod.
Yeah.
The three of those guys started like a GoFundMe, and so I chipped into that today. And so those are just some things that like will make you at least a little bit happy for a moment before you get
Yeah.
back all to all the crap that's on your Twitter timeline.
Yeah.
Is there any you want to
There
offer up while I take a drink of wine? You take it from here.
Yes, yes, you need that. Take a big old gulp.
Mm.
I just feel like Twitter these days, it's like the biggest emotional roller coaster. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit there and like we all are probably scrolling Twitter because you don't have much else going on. And for me, when I'm at work, I'm always scrolling Twitter looking for news, and when I'm home, I'm always scrolling Twitter looking for news about the world. And you see like positive, happy things. You see people trying to do their games on social media, or like you mentioned, like, there's random contests going on, or people tweeting pictures of what they're doing or their life. Broadcasters all over the country broadcasting from home and showing pictures of that. And then you see the death toll go up. You see this, you see that, and it's terrible. But for me, like personally, something that I'm really trying to get behind is just the small businesses and the restaurants. And that's just a whole nother element of this whole thing that has really like just hit me kind of hard, and just makes me so sad to think about all these people, because we all have a restaurant or two or three that we love, or a little boutique store in our neighborhood that we love, and they had to close their doors, and they don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully they'll get some sort of like stimulus from the government, which is obviously taking a little longer than I think people would hope for that to come through. But that's just something where I feel like the power of social media has been good,
Mm-hmm.
because you can get the word out. People can get the word out about what they're doing to try and like keep their doors open in some way. And I know my uncle personally, I've been big on social media supporting his restaurant, Norma's Cafe. They have 5 locations in all of DFW. And I have a personal connection to it, but I also just know how much good they've done in the community in the past when they don't really have to. And now seeing a business like that struggle just because of these circumstances that nobody could predict, like it's really sad. So I've been trying to promote them. Not just them, just any small business that and love. I know in my house, we've been ordering out a lot. Like I don't necessarily have tons of like funds to do that, but we are lucky that right now we're both still getting paid and they're not. So we're trying to order takeout as much as we can, save the food that we have in our freezer or our fridge for when we might really need it. And as long as these restaurants are doing it, we're trying to do that a lot. And a lot of them are even doing like drive-through drinks, which is kind of exciting. The drive-through margaritas, like that's a whole new world. Exciting. I'm like, I feel like because it's available to me, I have to do it like every day. I'm like, this is amazing. Like
I had a 10-gallon, not all in one sitting, a 10-gallon jug of margaritas. No, not 10. Sorry. 1 gallon.
You see, if you were on the ticket right now, they would have way too much fun with that. You'd hear it over and over for the rest of your life.
Oh dear. It was a 1 gallon, which was equivalent to 10 margaritas.
Okay.
1 gallon.
1 gallon
margaritas from one of our favorite spots that's a friend of ours owns, called Chimmy's. And so we had those over the weekend. We actually snuck away to Broken Bow, Oklahoma over the weekend, which is in the middle of nowhere. You come in contact with literally no one. There's nowhere to check in. You get a code to your cabin. And so we took that time to just kind of like take a deep breath and be like, well, we're about to be in it for the long haul. Let's go get some fresh air. It was nice. And so people who have those like little, don't you have a ranch or something?
Yeah.
Like if you can escape and like just get in the wide open spaces and breathe and do whatever, it is so good for your headspace.
I know.
Yeah. And so
you're not passing through people. Right, exactly. You're not in a big crowd. You're not risking giving something to anybody or getting something from somebody. Yeah. We were saying like literally the only thing at this point right now is my job, like holding us back. And I guess that whole shelter in place thing where you're not really supposed to leave at this point.
I will say
but that just started, so you were fine over the weekend.
But, of course, but you know what too? I think if you're going to your family ranch, I don't think that's what they mean by that. I think if you're going to your family ranch and you're not, like I said, we left town on Friday and didn't come in contact with another soul until Monday. You know what I
Okay.
mean? When we got back
Yeah.
in town. So I
Yeah.
don't think it applies to like if you have a, I mean, I don't think they want you loading up and going down to what's that, the hill country, San Antonio, whatever that is. That's not what they're
Right.
saying. You can't do that. But if you have like a family place or
Right.
whatever that you can go and get away, if we had a ranch house or something like that, we'd be all up in that business right now.
Yeah, I know. Ours is in Llano, and I've already asked my parents. I'm like, is it stocked up? Like, if we just want to hit the road and go, so we'll
Right.
see how things unfold if it
So I
gets to
think
that
people are
point.
just going to have to get creative. And like, I know people talked about driving to Fossil Rim, which is a place, not too far
Yep.
from the Metroplex, and you stay in the car, you don't come in contact with anyone. And so
Yeah.
those are safe things that you can do.
Yeah, we were gonna do that Sunday, but they closed.
Is it closed now?
Yeah.
False information again. What's wrong with
Well,
me?
it was open until like probably
I wonder
over the
why.
weekend because I think just
They
like
just
everyone
want
else,
people to
they feel the
stay
pressure.
home. Yeah.
They feel like they have to because that seemed like one good thing. It's
Yeah.
like a drive-through
No,
zoo.
you know what? On the billboard when we passed Six Flags, it said go to Fossil Rim. So
Yeah.
that must have been, yeah, just
Like a
happened. Well,
billboard that's always there, or like a billboard
no,
that
they
did
had
it.
put it like an electronic, like they're closed, go to
Okay.
Fossil Rim. I thought that was kind of a really cool gesture, actually, to
Yeah.
send them there. Like if you're looking for something to do,
Right. Yeah.
we can
Sunday we
always,
looked it up because we were going to go on Sunday, but maybe
yeah,
it's changed. Maybe who knows? But
yeah. I guess they don't,
there's
I
not
guess maybe
much
too many
to
people
do.
were going. And so I don't know.
I
Man,
don't know
that stinks
either.
though.
Yeah.
Well, we can edit that part of the show out.
No, it
I'm
doesn't
just,
matter. We're
I know,
just
I'm
like
just kidding.
living it like
Winging
everyone
it.
else.
We're all winging it.
Just trying to figure out what to do.
Okay, so back to no kidding. Okay, so back to the Twitter tweets. So I don't want to get too
Yeah.
bogged down in coronavirus because I feel like I want to give people an escape from that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
So I'm always curious to know people's like social media strategy and in particular with Twitter because I feel like in our professions, being in broadcasting, being somewhat of a public figure, you have to have kind of a strategy of how you're going to handle social media because you're going to get so much of it. So you're
Yeah.
going to get people who are so nice and you're going to get people who are so mean and you're going to get everything in between. And
Yep.
so for me, I always like one thing that drives me absolutely crazy. And if anyone does this, I don't think you do, but if you do, sorry. Um, when someone says something nice to you, like if they like they just tweet you, like at Julie
Yeah.
Dobbs, it's just between you and them, right? I mean, it's public view still,
Right.
but it's not like they put, hey, Julie Dobbs is the best, whatever. Even if they did, okay, they tag you in something and they're like, you are so amazing and so beautiful, and I love everything you do. And then someone will quote tweet that,
Yeah,
like
no, I don't do that.
retweet and then comment and be like, thank you. And I'm like, no, wait, what are you doing? What are you
I know
doing?
some
Like,
people that do that. I don't
I,
do that.
I don't follow many people anymore who do because it drives me crazy. It makes
Right.
me insane. Like that's awesome that like you want to acknowledge that someone said something nice to you. I completely agree with that. Like you shouldn't just ignore them. That's rude. But like, is there any reason to let everyone else know that someone else thinks you're really super awesome?
Right.
I don't know.
And
It's okay. I mean, and
no,
I could be.
no,
I don't know
no.
why. That's something I was like, it's like, it makes me really feel weird.
Yeah, or just like a simple retweet of a compliment, like retweeting a compliment, not
Yeah.
okay by me. I
Okay.
even feel okay, what?
Well, so no, but here's the deal though. So part
What's
of
the
our
deal?
job, here's the
What's the
deal.
deal?
Part of our job is we have to self-promote a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like there's some things that I do that I retweet or whatever. And sometimes I even feel weird about that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I realize it's a part, like I have to do a certain amount of it just because it's part of this whole social media thing. And especially as old as hell as I am, like I've got to try to keep hip with what the young kids are doing. And so I realize there has to be some of that involved, but I don't ever want it to be too much. So I'm just telling anyone who's listening right now or watching, if you ever see me do that, please, please get me back in my lane. It means I've completely lost it. Completely.
I've never seen you do that. I don't think that you'll start doing that. See, I even worry about replying sometimes because even when you reply, it shows up in people's timelines, right?
Well, but if you're replying directly to them, like if somebody says something nice to me, I'll say, that's so kind of you to say. Thank you for the kind words. I mean, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they went out of their way to say something nice to you. The least I could do is acknowledge it and say thank you. You know what I
Right. And
mean?
I feel the same way. I don't want to just leave it hanging, but I kind of know that everyone's going to see it and I'm like, "Oh, I hope people." I just
Right.
feel weird about it too, but
Yeah.
I've kind of gotten past that.
Right.
Because you're right. It's too
That was the chair squeaking, by
in
the way.
real
That was, did
I
you hear that?
I
Did you
believe
hear
you.
it?
I wasn't even going to say
I'm going
anything.
to try to recreate it. So, no. See? Can you hear it?
That's
Just want to make
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I just wanted to make sure because then I know how this works. Somebody will like pot it up and be like, "Did you hear it?" Mark the 11-minute mark. There's something happened in Emily's chair.
You're good. You're good. I think
Okay,
you've
all
been
right.
hanging around the little
Sorry.
kids too much.
Listen, that would have gotten at least 5 minutes of laughter right there. A fart noise. My kids would have
Oh
been
my
occupied
gosh.
forever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's that's how I handle the nice ones. Okay. So
Yeah.
now ones that I will retweet and comment for all the world to see are people that say mean things about me, which I don't know why I do this or where it comes from. And I always tell people like especially good friends of mine, like Evan Grant is on Twitter all the time, and God love him. I love the man. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
beat reporter for the Rangers.
Oh yeah.
But this man will, I'm just like, Evan, you got to move on. Like, we got to move on. You need to, and he always, we always laugh about it. But sometimes I'll do it. And then, of course, he's the first one to call me out. But I'm like, sometimes I just can't help myself. I just can't. I just don't.
And sometimes they deserve it.
Yep. And that
Sometimes
too.
they deserve to be
That
put
too.
on blast for being an a-hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gets me. It's like, there's not a lot, but there's a lot. Some people, I won't say a lot, some people that just feel the need to like say mean things to you on Twitter.
Oh,
yeah. And for most of the time, I just usually try to ignore it. But sometimes it's like, okay, this one is just not okay. Yeah. I've got to like reply to this one. I have a story.
Do tell. I want to look for a tweet while you one.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. Oh, this one was so dumb. This one was about Peloton. It was like when that Peloton commercial.
Oh yeah, the Peloton
out.
chick. Yeah.
Yes, and so my good friend Chris Budden, who I think you know as well.
Yes, who I want to have on this podcast, by the way.
Yes, we do really need to have her.
Yes.
We've been doing some Peloton rides together in the morning. She's been trying to get groups together. But anyway, she replied about like, yeah, that commercial's dumb, but Peloton's life-changing. And then I commented, I was like, I totally agree. It is life-changing when you have kids, and you can't get out of the house. And then someone replied like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How could something like that be life-changing? What an idiot. It's a bike. And so I looked at it. It was like a Saturday, like calling me an idiot. It was like a Saturday and it was beautiful weather. I was out playing with my kids and you just get this like ping on your phone. It's like, and you're like, oh, well, that's nice. Oh, good. I'm an idiot because I said something and this, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to DM this person and see what happened.
You did?
Yeah. I was like, because I'm like,
okay.
It's like a study of humans. I'm like, why do people feel the need to do this? And maybe we can like talk through whatever's wrong with them. Like they obviously are sad. Like
wow, you're wow,
like, like
really
they
nice,
need help. Well, we went back and forth a little bit, like publicly, and then I'm like,
oh, I see. Okay.
And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want to keep doing this publicly, but like, I wonder what's wrong. So I just kind of replied to that person and I said, I don't understand why you feel the need to do this. Like, I'm somebody that you don't even know, talking about something that has no effect on you or your life. Why do you need to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then they were actually like, they fought back a little bit. But then we ended up like DMing back and forth for, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 messages each and kind of worked through it. And he kind of said, you know what? I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. Sometimes we forget that there's a real person on the other side of these things. And I was like, well, my work here is done. I just felt like
this may be the first happy ending of I was going to say happy ending of Twitter DMs in the history, but I know it's not the first happy ending in Twitter DMs.
Yeah, no, there's probably way better endings.
But that's like that was like a really mature, socially responsible thing to do. I'm really proud of you.
I don't know about that, but it was like sometimes these things just bother me so much, and like if someone called me like a bad name, I'm like it just bugs me, and I really want to know. I'm like, well, you know what, this person's probably sad or they're going through something. And if I had known we were going to go here, I could pull it up and like tell you this exchange because it was actually interesting. And the guy was just kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry, you know, I'm not going to do that anymore. Now that I know, like,
Look
it's like
at
they just forget that there's a real person on the other side. It's like when they're watching baseball and they tweet at you about whatever, like
what I'm wearing or
your
my hair.
hair or what you're
That's
wearing.
basically
Like,
it.
they just feel like you're this person in the TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I can actually like find them on Twitter, so I'm going to say something to them. It's like, no, you're a real human with like a really good, kind human. Like, these people just need to get a grip, Emily.
I agree. Okay, so I'm going to share one of my favorites. So yes. Sometime this off season, it was January 9th, and I had tweeted, I mean, because in the off season, there's not much baseball news. And if you're going for I don't give breaking news about baseball very often. And so I just feel like probably if you follow me and you're into the Rangers, you're following like 5 other people that are going to quote tweet or quote Rangers press releases. So that's
right.
Really
and that's like
shtick.
Their job. That's their
thing. And so I'll tweet about random household stuff. I mean, I'm all over the map. So I tweeted, if you're thinking about having kids, keep in mind that at some point in their life, they will ask you to yank a tooth straight up out of their mouth, and you will do it. Because that's what parents do, and you will be scarred forever. Don't say I didn't warn you. So find just a random, like my kid had just asked me to.
Yes.
I mean, she just asked me to yank a tooth out of her mouth, and it would, whatever.
I didn't sign up for this.
And I did it.
Right. Had a baby, like, geez.
So then this lady texts me back. Okay, so is the first of all, before I get too far into this, the whole Karen thing. Karen is like a thing, right? Like Karen, she's like poops.
The person that complains about everything. So like if you go to the restaurant and you're like, my coffee is not hot enough, you're a Karen.
Why are your kids getting on iPads? They should be engaging in conversation with you at the dinner table. Well, it's because I haven't had a moment of effing peace in about 3 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I was at a restaurant recently. That was an old story. So
because you would have been busted, girlfriend.
Busted. Yes. God, like I've been hanging out at restaurants.
We know what you mean.
So Linda, meet Linda. Karen, meet Linda. Is there a reason you purposefully avoid baseball reporting? Lots of features that you could cover, but don't. The day Torino signed pending physical, you chose to ask about how to fold pants. I guess I tweeted about folding pants. Which, by the way, pants should always be folded, back pockets kissing, always.
Yes, you told us on episode 2.
You don't. Oh, yes, I did. It's good to know. You don't need to play the housewife mom role. Okay, and then she tagged Fox Sports Southwest, which to me is next level.
She tagged your boss.
It's not even technically my boss. The Rangers
it's the social media person.
It's my
right.
You know what I mean? But yes,
she thought she was tagging your boss.
She thought she was tagging my boss. So how long did I wait? I want to see how long I waited. 10:13. She tweeted me. I waited till 8:27 that night.
Okay.
May have had a glass of wine.
You showed some restraint.
I did. And so I said, wait, no, maybe I didn't. Oh, crud. Now I lost it. No. Well, 7:30 the next day. It wasn't even wine.
You slept on it.
I slept on it. 7:31 the next morning. I said, thanks for asking, Linda. The reason is because I tweet about whatever I want to tweet about because I'm a big girl. And that was it.
It was the best.
And it was probably maybe my most liked tweet ever. And I did that. And you know what? And that's what a lot of my tweet, when someone comes at me like that, like it's usually for hair, garden party. Like somebody said, why do you dress like you're going to a garden party, to a baseball game? And usually my response is that it's always like, just because I'm a big girl. Like I probably need to think of something a little better.
That's good.
I think it's like, you're not the boss. You're not the boss of me, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it makes me feel so much better, because here's my thing. If she asked the question, I'm giving her an answer. That's the reason I tweet about whatever I want to tweet about, because it's my choice. No one's telling me what to tweet about. And thank God for the Rangers that they don't do that. They let me do me. Yeah. And, and they don't, if they'll ask me if they want me to tweet something, whatever, fine, I'll do it. Right. But they don't control my narrative. They don't control what I'm putting out, what I'm not putting out. I cuss every once in a while on Twitter. I don't do it all the time. Yeah. They stay out of my business for that regard. And they respect that. And I respect them for that they trust me enough to where I'm not going to embarrass the organization. I would never want to do that. Right. But sometimes I'm like, I just can't, I'm not always going to be PC. I'm not always going to be straight down the middle. I'm not, I don't feel like that's who I am. And
Yeah,
so sometimes you get frustrated and you're like, F this.
for
If she's
sure.
going to come at me and you're asking me a question and you're tagging who you think is my boss, bring it on, sister. Let's go,
So
Linda.
I have to know, were you intimidated by the fact that Linda knew that Robinson Trinos was pending physical?
Well, and
because that is a big detail she had to include.
She wanted that because she's on it, which is great.
She's like, I'm Linda. I know the story.
Yes.
You're the Rangers reporter. You should know this. You should be tweeting about this.
Pending physical.
Some people.
I know.
But you know what? That's what I was trying to. I'm like, well, maybe they need this for whatever reason to like make them feel better. They have to vent. They're obviously unhappy.
Right. But the thing is, if somebody's like, it's your, and that's fine. I mean, too, I don't think I even disagree with venting. If you want to, get on
but don't at someone.
That's what I mean. It's like, I don't get like, so like, was she tattling on me? Like, did she think they were that I'm going to get, what is it called when you get written up or something? What is it called? Don't you have a file? You get, when you work at a job,
you
have like a file and you get like,
I don't know.
Isn't there like marks in your file, or is this? Am I thinking of high school? I don't know.
That sounds like school to me.
I felt like
I've never had a job. I just get fired.
No marks, just get fired.
I get socially distanced or something like that, No, but
well, that's just kind of that's just the way that I've decided to approach it. I try to have fun on Twitter. Sometimes I will get a little sappy on there or try to be, I try to spread good messages, as far as like things that'll make people happy or, smile or whatever. I don't take myself too seriously on there.
Well, and that's why people like you. And I think that Twitter is something where people like Twitter because you get more of a picture of what somebody's personality really is. Yeah. Right. And so it's kind of about being yourself. But I do feel like there's a fine line. Like some things I say for Instagram or a podcast with you, where you just feel like you can really be yourself. You do have to remember there's all these people on Twitter that are reading it that you don't know. And I try so hard to not ever get in trouble for things on Twitter. Right. But you can't please everybody and you have to be you. So you keep doing you, girlfriend.
Well, I say right back at you, girl. I mean, maybe next time someone comes at me and we go back and forth a few times, I may just slide into their DMs and see if they want to hash it out therapy style.
I'll send you my conversation and we can I don't know. I guess we don't have like a mom game Twitter where I can put it out there.
Maybe we should start one. We've got
maybe we should. We do. We could do a website or I don't know.
Let's tap the brakes a little bit. Let's start with the Twitter account.
Just a Twitter.
Not and going committing us to things that we're not prepared for.
True.
Yeah, I can set up a Twitter account. Not quite sure how to set up a website. It's taken me 2 days to figure out how to log into my kids' school portal, and I'm not even joking. You think I'm joking, and I'm not. It's taken 2 days to do this.
Have you logged in? Have you started the school?
This happened. No. I've printed out worksheets. You should see the stuff we're doing. It's like worksheets, and then I'll tell him to go find something on the internet. And Henry has to do a presentation because he knows how to do like PowerPoint, which blows my mind, by the way.
Wow.
Second grade knows how to do PowerPoint, which is they're doing something right in school. And then my kindergartner, I make her do 5 facts about a subject, and she has to write them out. And then at the end of the day, they do a presentation about it. Yeah. Which is great. Sounds like, super mom, awesome idea. That consumes about maybe 30 minutes of our, 7-hour school day. So yeah,
a lot of time.
You're just getting you just try to get creative. But I will say it did take, I'm so technologically challenged, and we did have some issues within our school district, whatever. But it took me like 2 days to get where I can log into my kids' stuff to where they can see what they need to see, where they kind of have some sort of semblance. So so I'm sure it's going to all be a cakewalk from here. It'll be awesome.
Oh, for sure. You'll be teacher of the year.
Teacher of the year. No other choice.
I feel like having kids, kindergarten is kind of like, it's kindergarten, but second grade and up, I could see, or I can tell from a lot of moms, they're actually feeling pressure because they're like, my kids already started learning and they're on this path. There's luckily, at least here, I know in Dallas, there's no STAR testing or the testing this year, but I know that moms are just feeling a whole lot of pressure. And then some moms are even having to work at the same time from home and do the school.
It's
mass
Chaos. Yeah.
Chaos.
So here's our suggestion to you. We're gonna hopefully by the time this airs, we're gonna start a Twitter account.
Okay.
And so we want, yes, look at this for productivity. So we're going to start a Twitter account, and then we want you guys to flood us with compliments so we can quote tweet them and say how thankful we are. And then
I will cancel our Twitter account if you keep doing that.
Trust me, I won't.
I'll pull the cord on you.
So yes. So tweet us, hit us up, let us know what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right. If you like us, just tell us if you like us. If you don't, just keep your mouth shut.
Don't
what kind of content you want to see. We're all, like I said, Julie and I are new at this. We have a whole list of show ideas, but we want to know what you guys want. If you have questions for us, we're going to try to do a segment, either, a brief time during each episode of like, just ask Julie and Emily or ask the mom game. And then we can answer those questions, whether it be monthly, biweekly, weekly, whatever. But like we said, we want to build this community. And so I think probably, Twitter might be the best way to build it. I think maybe Instagram might be the next step, but I think we're going to start with Twitter. So you know what I've noticed? I feel like a lot of ladies in our demographic aren't on Twitter. And and so I would encourage you ladies to get on Twitter, follow just us, and then I promise everything else will be fine. But there are valuable information. There is valuable stuff out there. And we'll try to lead you in places, like, especially if you're new to Twitter, we'll try to lead you to places that aren't like super
Twitter
polarizing. And yes, we can be your Twitter tour guide. So let's start this. Let's start growing our community with Twitter and then take it from there. Let's go one step at a time. So this week it's Twitter.
I think a lot of dads or men, not necessarily dads, but have also been interested, I've noticed, from social media feedback.
For sure. But I feel like a lot of those guys are on. They're already on.
They're on.
I feel like the men in our, like the men 18 to
they're already there.
50, they're on it. Maybe
but
50,
I think
maybe 40.
But I think 50 is fine. But I think
I'm just saying, but I don't know if, except for,
right.
Whatever. Yeah, well, whatever. Let's not.
I think that we should do. Yeah, I think we should take some questions from some of the dads that are struggling with this or that, whether it's parenting or they're not necessarily like we need to give relationship advice. But I know a lot of dads are maybe saying like, okay, like the big one. I know a lot of dads that are like, okay, how do I approach playing golf? Because I need to play golf. Exactly.
Not right now.
So not right now, but in the real world.
But in the real world,
things like that. Like we can give you some advice. I do too. So if they tweet us,
all the answers.
We do. We just got it all. We've got it all figured out.
Obviously,
for some reason, we're still a complete shit show. So I don't know how that works.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think we should do that too, moving forward.
Yes, so we're not just for moms. We're not just for sports fans. We're for everyone.
We're for everyone.
We're going to start a Twitter account. We're going to get ready for episode 5. And they said it wouldn't last. Here we are.
Here we go.
So join our community. Let us know what you think. And that's it.
I've got a shout out.
You got a shout out?
This is very important to the mom game.
Yes.
So today's episode, we mentioned it on the last episode, but now we have a legit title sponsor that we're going to be talking about a lot, and they're thankfully supporting us through all of this. And so that is Cowden Cosmetic Dentistry. So they just want to get the word out that right now, while obviously elective dental procedures are prohibited, and that's coming down from the government, but Dr. Anna Cowden and her staff there at Cowden Cosmetic Dentistry want you to know that they're equipped, ready to handle any dental emergency that you may have. Those happen a lot. We all know that. Any procedure that you may need will still be done with your safety, the safety of the staff, all is the primary concern. So they're here for you, and we want all of our listeners, our following, to make sure that you know about them. If you need help determining what is elective or emergency, call Cowden Cosmetic Dentistry today at 972-380-6223 or email them at info@cowdencosmeticdentistry.com. And Emily, I know you gave them a visit already and had a really good experience.
I did. I got my teeth that Zoom whitening, and I think they look good. Oh.
I was really staring at your teeth. Like I was going in hard looking at those pearly whites and then
you got the dogs in there. Please, I'm wrapping this up. It's going to take 2 seconds. Go, Izzy Griffey. Go get a treat. Go get a treat. I understand.
I ate all my food.
Okay, I'll get you something in a minute. Please, just let me finish this. I love you. Close the door. Go take the dogs. Stop.
My wine.
Stop. Go.
It's okay.
Okay, this,
You
thank
know,
goodness for editing.
got some hangry kids.
Go get them a treat. You need to get in the shower. Go get them a treat. Treat and shower. You can have it after your shower.
The struggle is real.
So
I hear
much
you.
struggle.
I hear you. Bedtime coming soon.
So yes, I did recently visit Cowden Cosmetic Dentistry, and I got my teeth whitened. So I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I've used those whitening trays before. That they do the impressions of your teeth, and then they fill it with you fill it with the gel each night, whatever. Which those are fine, and I feel like they work fine. But it's such a, I mean, it's such a whip. I felt like, and so this was like 45 minutes. And, it was amazing. I mean, it was like 15 minutes, then they changed, 15 minutes, change, 15 minutes. And then I was done. And then, like after 2 days, you could really see like the effects of it. Cause I guess it like does something like open up I don't know if you have pores in your teeth, but it's kind of like that. And then, so like by day 3, they were super white, and I'm super glad that I did it. So big thanks to Dr. Anna and all her work out there.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so we're grateful to have them as a title sponsor. We're grateful to have them as the title sponsor, grateful for their support. And I, again, have to think of a better way to deal with my screw-ups than spitting on a microphone, especially in these times. I'll work on that. And the Twitter page.